Derrick, what's your takeaway today from the long anticipated coaching staff changes, but not just coaching staff, in operations as well? Because you've talked about it. You gave everyone the heads up on this, that they really needed to add to their, I'm just going to call it their pitching operation. It wasn't just Dusty Blake. There's a lot of things that needed to happen there. And do you think that they have seriously or significantly addressed that with some of the moves today?
Yeah, Dean Keckefer should not have been a surprise. I think during the season, this past season, he joined them for a bit, and he was talked about at that time as somebody who they would add to the staff. I think it kind of got lost. I know for me personally, I was like, oh, yeah, that's something that they – like I guess at some point in time, I just assumed that was going to happen and hadn't been announced, and that's a mistake on my part. I'll just be blunt with you there. Because Dean was around and he had this role and he was a fit, and it seemed like they were starting from a place of having him on the staff. But he's part of the additions, which, again, I should have been clearer on, or at least asked about, so that's on me. But they've added a new position called Coordinator of Technology and Systems. Those roles have those responsibilities have kind of been under other umbrellas, but now it's like a direct person, and I think that's really interesting. They have upgraded the support staff for pitchers, and that's important. They have quietly added another layer to the support staff for game planning and catchers too, in Yadier Molina, though he's not mentioned on this because he's not an everyday guy. So I think that they've done what they wanted to do, but this is just the beginning. I cannot stress that enough. That like the major league staff needed help, and major league staffs have expanded, and the Cardinals were behind on that, and they had a lack of manpower that showed up at times last year, and this is something that we've discussed. But that's not the only area where they need to increase or upgrade or rethink how they offer support for their players. Next is the development. They really have to increase or modernize what they're doing with their development. And in a lot of ways, that's even more intriguing what they do there than the announcement today.
And I just want I want to see Dusty Blake have more of a chance. And tell us about the systems manager and like what you perceive the job will entail. The gentleman that they I forget the title they gave him. I apologize, but in their announcement today, someone like behind the scenes going to be working. Presumably to coordinate some of the advanced metrics, or at least the information coming from that. Just talk to us about that if you for what you know.
Are you talking about the Major League Coordinator of Technology and Systems?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's that new position, and that's taken on some of the things that. So it's Daniel D.C. McClay, who's been in the organization. Yeah. So I mean he's taken on part of what Dusty did. He's taken on part of what you think back to even what Joey Prisbilla did, who's now with the Angels, all the way back to there. So they've called it different roles, like a liaison between analytics and the clubhouse, but now it's stationed in the clubhouse. Like that's, some other teams have this like an offensive coordinator or an analytics guide, or they give them all different types of titles. But in this case, the Cardinals have empowered or have now somebody kind of specific to that. We'll see. It doesn't spell out, and I haven't had a chance to ask because I've been in the chat. But it doesn't spell out if it'll be pitching related or all things related. They have Packy Elkins on the hitting coaching side, right? And he's called a game day planning coach, so he does tend to veer towards the hitting side. So it makes sense that there is a cooperation between this new role and Packy, with this new role leaning towards pitching. And that is key because it's not just game planning. It's also pitch creating, pitch crafting, pitch, creation, but how to get more from pitches, how to exploit pitches, what type of pitches to use, how to develop pitches, and then also kind of mechanics too. So not just perusing video and everything like that, but using some of the new and current technology when it comes to mechanics and spotting early on, either tells or using biomechanics to possibly spot troubles ahead for injuries or troubles ahead for fastball effectiveness, things like that.
Derrick Goold with us. I wanted to visit with you on the Tyler O'Neill deal, just more about who's coming in. And, I didn't have time. It happened during the show, so it's hard for me to dive into the numbers and find things. But the one guy, the big right-hander that they got in that deal, Nick Robertson, he seems to be a pretty legit guy in terms of his potential to be not only just a part, but maybe perhaps even an important part of their bullpen next season. And I don't want to get carried away with that, but he made a change pretty late last season with the sweeper, and he got great results, and he's got swing and miss stuff. I don't know. I mean, there's some things there that make him, just my look, more than just a guy. Maybe he has a chance to be somebody that can really help him. What do you think? Set me straight or add more, sir?
No, I think you outlined it well. He's not like the sense I got in doing the chat today was that they traded for him and they called him a closer. That's not what happened.
Right.
They traded for him and he's depth. That's what this move was. It was pitching depth. If they could package Tyler O'Neill in a deal to get a starter, they would have done that. And he wouldn't have been the centerpiece of that. If they could get a major league reliever in return, they would have done that. The Yankees had some relievers of interest to the Cardinals, but they obviously spent a lot of their pitching to get Soto, and then also we're looking for a left-handed bat in Verdugo that then freed up the Red Sox to go after a right-handed bat. The Cardinals got depth and they got an option, and I think you outlined it well. If it hits for him, perfect. If he goes back and forth through, adding some stability or contributing every so often, perfect. They still get a contributor out of this. They didn't make this trade thinking, okay, the bullpen's done, solution, everything's all set. But they have another option. And one of the things that they want to do is create as many options out there, both options in going back and forth between the minors, but also who they can turn to, because they know that if they can find a hot hand, then that will help them if, say, somebody they're really counting on struggles. The bullpen is so volatile, and they're trying to blend this notion of go get a guy who's had a lot of success, strong trends, but also be ready to find a way to backfill and hope lightning strikes. That's how teams build bullpens now. The Cardinals have sometimes relied more on their own pitching providing that. Now they wanted to go and add it via trade, and then they still have two moves that they want to make, at least two moves they want to make through free agents.
And even, again, I didn't know what to make of when they claimed or they drafted Ryan Fernandez in the Rule 5 process, also
Stuff
from
guy.
the Red Sox. Yeah, stuff and he is a stuff guy. And the more I've read about him, and the more I look at him as someone with real potential. And
yeah,
I always like to tell people, don't take that from me, or don't even necessarily take that from Derrick, but Eric Longenhagen, I think, is really astute in terms of prospect evaluations at Fangraphs. I mean, he wrote before the draft that he thought Fernandez was the most likely guy to be a success and to help a major league team in 2024. So that's a outside an outside opinion, if you will. So I will buy into that because I think the analyst has got credibility, So when you see other people who do this for a living, full-time prospect study, then I think their opinion carries more weight. Not that it means that they're absolutely right about everything, but he looks like another guy with potential.
All it is health. I mean, he has stuff. He has the right stuff to succeed in a relief role. Just everything. I mean, as far as modern, as far as results, as far as pitch shape, as far as pitch velocity, just all of it. He has that. What he needs is health. And if he gets health, then you're talking about a rather significant addition who may not have a prominent role to begin, but you could easily see because of the bats he misses, because of the horsepower there, because of the bite on his breaking ball, which is set to be major league, all those things. If he has health, then he's going to be. He's got a lot of upside.
Derrick Goold with us. I know you got work to do, so I don't want to keep you too long. I thought your piece on Sonny Gray was really great. Wanted to compliment you on that. I thought your piece on Daniel Descalso. Oh, Lynn Worthy wrote that. Well, yeah, I meant to thank the Post-Dispatch. To heck with you, then. That's right.
That's fine. Credit where credit's due. Lynn Worthy wrote the Sonny Gray thing. He was savvy and went and got Rocco Baldelli, and
that was good. Yeah,
it was a really good story.
Stupid oversight on my part. I apologize. I thought your Descalso piece, assuming that you did in fact write that, I thought that was really good. Yeah, I know. I thought that was really, really good too. So. I kind of like some of the stuff they've done this offseason. I know that in this town that makes me Fredbird for having dare say anything. I know. Dare say anything positive that when, somebody like me, who, by the way, has ripped the team all year. It's interesting. It's interesting when I say, I like that. Oh, I like this. You know what? That's pretty good. Oh, what are you taking? You taking money from the team now? People are nuts.
There seems to be something really weird going on, Bernie. Like on the chat today, somebody asked me, and they said the name was like Missing Tony La Russa, and they asked, are we past the era where a manager is honest about what they need? And I'm like, you're past the era, I guess, if it was 5 minutes ago, because wasn't it in October that Oliver Marmol made all kinds of headlines for saying what the team needs?
Absolutely.
And spelled it out almost by position, by traits, said that there were traits that they had to weed out of the clubhouse. And I've just never seen somebody also said, the Cardinals are, once again complacent. And I asked in the chat, I was like, I have no idea how the most vocal part of the fan base, whether on social media or in chats, the ones that we hear from, there can be such a big disconnect between how they view the Cardinals and their complaints and how the industry views the Cardinals.
Right.
The Cardinals were lauded by rivals who have no reason to compliment them, some of whom have in the past gone out of their way not to compliment the Cardinals. And they would volunteer, come up to me and go, man, Mo is not happy with the direction things went. He is motivated. He is aggressive. He's angry. And it's okay, well, that's what the industry views. And yet, on Twitter, and they're complacent once again. You can disagree with their moves. That's cool. Be critical of their moves. That's fine. They went out and signed 2 pitchers in their late 30s, and they added a lot of innings, and they also added a lot of hits allowed. Okay, fine. Be critical of their moves, but they did go sign 3 free agents, and other teams are still waiting around.
Yeah. And there's also I'm personally frustrated because I did a lot of research on this. And you and I have talked about it too. Innings from starting pitching, especially the backdrop of what happened in 2023, but what's been going on for a while now. The fact that he went out and got 3 innings guys, and these are proven innings guys, and these are guys that their supply of innings plus their ability, they have a long-standing track record of having a really good percentage of starts that go at least 6 innings. That makes a huge difference for the Cardinals. And yet people act like they just went out and picked up, marginal starting pitchers who were just guys or something. I mean, I really expect this fan base to be smarter. I'm sorry. I understand dissent. I understand dissent. Yeah.
Can I defend? I think it is. I just don't think we hear from the scope of the fan base anymore.
No, that's true.
I think it goes back to your original question about threads.
Yeah, that's true.
And it is. I mean, look, if you spoke to it, right? If you or I, you put it really well. If you say, hey, they made moves they needed to, then you get called Fredbird.
Right.
That's an element
that's exactly
of bullying.
Right.
And you know what? Fans who go on social media and go, hey guys, I think the Cardinals made some good moves. They're going to get bullied off of Twitter.
Right.
And so we don't hear from them anymore.
No doubt.
So we only hear the angriest voices. And that's really, really, I made a point in the chat today that if you want to pick your own facts, we can't have a discussion. But all we'll have is dissension.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier today. I know it's really unreal, but I take back what I said because I always need to make that clear. I'm not talking about the overall fan base. I'm just talking about the people that make the most noise, and boy, do they make a lot of noise, and boy, are they stupid.
Here's a whopper for you, Bernie. You ready?
Yeah.
Reports are coming out now that the contract is filed and the spots on the 40-man roster are open. Shohei Ohtani is deferring $68 million of his average annual salary. So he goes as a $2 million player for the salary in 2024 with the Dodgers, and appears to be deferring $680 million over the life beyond his contract. How crazy is that?
That's totally crazy. And people, you have a lot of people, baseball's broken, the sky's falling. No, actually the Dodgers are really smart. And they did what was best for the Dodgers. And Ohtani was smart enough to realize, look, I don't need all this money right now. I want to win. So let me do what I can to make sure they can get other people in here to help. To me, that's one of the best signings I've ever seen in my lifetime for that reason alone. A player who gets it.
Yeah, I don't know how it sets up for any other player like that.
Right.
But, man, what does Juan Soto get next year if he's willing to defer everything but, say, a $4 million salary?
Probably won't do it, but it's interesting. It really is.
Yeah.
Derrick, thank you, man. Thank you so much,
bet,
right?
Bernie.
As always. Thank you so much. Before we take a break, I just got to since I was bellowing again, and again, I apologize because I know I think we have a lot of smart listeners, so especially to you guys and women, I apologize, seriously. I let too much of the rabble influence me in terms of distorting what the overall view is among Cardinals fans, because it doesn't the people that just go nuts trying to prove, I don't know what is they're trying to prove, whatever it is on social media, they really distort the fact that there's a lot of really smart Cardinals fans, and so I need to pay my respects to that more often. I do, but I need to do it more often. But just to recap the thing has set me off, the importance in modern contemporary baseball, the importance of you get a 6+ inning start from one of your starters, even if it's Lance Lynn or even if it's Kyle Gibson, and certainly Sonny Gray. Over the past 3 seasons, when a St. Louis starting pitcher went 6+ innings, the Cardinals were 122 and 62. Is that good? Jim, can you help? Is that good?
I think that's outstanding. I think that's pretty much outstanding.
That's a .663 winning percentage the past 3 seasons when they got 6+ from a starter in a game. And oh, by the way, that Cardinals team that was 71 and 91 this past year, when they got a 6+ start from one of their guys, 6+ inning start in 2023, they were 35 and 25. And you got people online who fancy themselves as experts of something, talking about, well, I don't care if these guys can throw innings. You don't? Last 3 seasons, when a St. Louis starting pitcher gives them 6+ innings in a game, 122 and 62, a .663 winning percentage, and when a St. Louis starter went fewer than 6 innings over the past 3 seasons, 132 and 170 for a .437 winning percentage. I'm a tough internet cowboy. I don't care about these innings. All these media people writing how important that is, they're taking money from DeWitt.
Tough internet cowboy. That's good.
I mean, when the facts are like so incredibly stark and on point, and they show you beyond a shadow of a doubt the importance of getting lengthier starts. And sometimes I'm going to repeat it, and then I'm going to stop whining. Sometimes I just get the feeling of like I can talk for hours. I can write books about the subject, and it's just like, even though we have a lot of people listening to us, especially on our streaming, and I know where I write it over at Scoops, I know that the traffic is really, really good, but sometimes I feel like it's just all meaningless because people just are so dug in with their stubbornness and, combination of stubbornness and stupidity that You can't make something that is 100% fact-based register with them. And it should not bother me, but it does. And, that's my fault. That's my fault. Because I'm confident and comfortable with the facts that I look up and the research that I present. People don't want to, if they want to disregard it, go ahead. You go ahead and win the X or the Twitter contest, wherever the hell that is. Maybe you and Alex Jones can fight for the championship. Something like that. I don't know. Have a ball. Knock yourself out. Actually, please knock yourself out. Let's take a break. Here on the Bernie Show, we got some NFL talk with Matt Lombardo, and I was talking about Threads, which is I'm on Twitter and at Threads. Let me just throw this in real quick. Twitter, I'm at my last name, that good old Polish last name, at Miklasz, M as in Michael, I-K-L-A, S as in Sam, Z as in zebra, and then over on Over on the other place.
Threads,
that's right. Yeah. What am I thinking? I got distracted by something. It's Miklasz B. My last name plus B. No period in there, just Miklasz B. And I'm up to about 1,000 followers already over there, and I just started in. But I don't want to leave Twitter behind, because a lot of people follow me on there, and it's how I link to all my work, and I need to engage more often. I know that, but I got about 141,000 followers, and I just don't want to abandon them. That sounds self-serving, but I really feel that way, because a lot of this is about making sure people they know when you've written or said something new, and they can find it easily, and I'm just trying to be of service, I guess. But it also helps me out too, of course.